Welcome back, and a special welcome to first-time viewers. What I really love about this recipe is the fact that it can be made in one single bowl. Ensure you know the mass of the bowl you use for easy corrections later if required. Start by adding and mashing the banana first. Ideally, you should use the same mass of banana as the mass of flour that you use, but in my case I did not have enough banana, so I added a little bit more plant milk at the end. The banana should be really ripe, almost liquidy inside the skin. Using normal ripe banana will also work, but it is a bit more difficult to mash and does affect the flavor slightly. Mixing the banana and the wet ingredients with a food processor is quicker, but then it's not a one bowl recipe anymore. Next, sieve in 420 gram of all-purpose flour, or I prefer to use stone ground spelt flour. If it's possible for you to mill it just before you use it, that's even better. So close! Add 2 teaspoons baking powder. I prefer to use aluminium-free baking powder. Then 2 teaspoons of baking soda or bicarbonate of soda. Mix well to ensure the baking powder and bicarbonate of soda is evenly distributed in the flour. Next up are 2 pinches of salt. Because I use Himalayan pink salt, I make it generous pinches. The final dry ingredient is 150 gram of sugar. I prefer to use coconut sugar since it's not refined, or if you use the food processor method, you can also use dates as an alternative sweetener. Give all the dry ingredients one final mix. Take care not to start mixing the banana at the bottom of the bowl yet. Next, add 150 ml of coconut oil, 2 teaspoons of vanilla essence. I use alcohol-free or ethanol-free vanilla essence. If it's possible to use fresh vanilla from the pods, that's even better. Start combining it with a spoon. And if it's a little bit dry because you did not have enough banana, like in my case, you can add up to 110 ml of coconut milk or any other plant milk that you might have available. Remember to preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Prepare a baking pan of your choice. I prefer to use food grade stainless steel. Or if I do use something like a silicone or non-stick coated pan, I usually line it with baking paper. For a non-stick spray, I usually prefer olive oil based non-stick spray. Next, transfer the dough evenly into your baking pan or baking cups of your choice. Just look at how little washing up you will have to do. Transfer to the oven. Make the large baking pans for 50 to 60 minutes and small cupcake sizes for 35 to 40 minutes. While baking, prepare a cooling tray or cooling pan. Wow, just look at how delicious that looks. Especially for banana bread, it is important to check with a toothpick or chopstick that is completely baked through. It should come out completely clean with no raw dough left on the stick or pick. Perfect. The inside should be baked nice and through. And now all that is left to do is to serve and enjoy. Store in an airtight container. It can be enjoyed for up to 3 to 4 days. Banana bread especially develops flavor from the second day. It can even be frozen for several weeks and then reheated before serving. When using plant milk, it can be quite brittle, especially in the first or second day. If only banana is used, it's much more flexible and will not crumb off so easily. It can be enjoyed just as it is, with some plant butter or with any trimmings of your choice. Another option is to toast it in the toaster or in the air fryer for 3 minutes on 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which provides a completely different taste profile. This is an example of another bread that I baked with 100 gram more banana than flour. If you made it this far, thank you very much for your time and for watching. I really hope you enjoy it. Please share your favorite way of enjoying this delicious banana bread in the comments. And if you find this recipe as delicious and easy to make as I do, please like, subscribe and share this to other baking enthusiasts. Until next time, bake away and stay healthy.